Hello, and welcome to another exciting episode of Wave the Brush with me, your host, Kris, aka Mini Wargamer Kris, aka the Name Butcher, aka all out of AKs. Wave the Brush, the most informative 120 minutes on the internet on the wargaming lifestyle. We'll talk about painting, terrain, conversions, and everything under the sun. Usually we delve into a lot of painting talk, as well as a lot of what's under the sun, meaning that any topic is up for grabs. Nothing's barred. We'll talk about politics, life, painting, anything. So, if you're a brand new viewer, you can join us live. Of course, today this is a pre-recorded show because I've been having a little bit of trouble today for whatever reason. I don't know. So I said I had to get a show done for the monkeys today, and so I'm pre-recording this because I definitely want to stay ahead of my emails, of course, because I do have a lot of emails, and so I'm gonna. This show is basically just going to be an email show. I'll probably ramble on as well as and such, and maybe we'll pop into Discord. I don't know, but this, again, like I said, this is pre-recorded, so and I am uploading this to Twitch first before I will have it public on YouTube, just to give everybody a chance on Twitch to chance to view. But like I said, if you're brand new, normally you can join us in the live chat, of course. You can ask your questions there. Of course, another way you can ask your questions is by email, Kris@miniwargaming.com. It's in the description below. And of course, if you are sending pictures, send them as attachments. Don't send them as links off to, Imager or whatever, any other image hosting site. Mainly because they often have ads and stuff like that, and I just, I can't be bothered with that. And so be sure to send them as attachments. Attachments, please. And of course, normally about this point, I would say, well, speaking of monkeys, but unfortunately, because I'm pre-recording this, there are no monkeys right now. But of course, we could just jump over to Discord, and we can see, monkeys are talking over here. I was considering jumping in to Discord and having them talk live, but then I thought, no, that's probably a bad idea. I mean, it's not a bad idea, but I mean, I don't know. Maybe we will. Maybe I'll just jump into it real quick and just, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. I really don't have that much time today, and like I said, I really wanted to get a show done, and yeah, so we are doing one. We're doing it pre-recorded style, and I added another feature into this too, and I really wanted this to work, and of course, this is usually the way things go. So of course, as I was saying, when you're asking your questions, you can ask live, you can send them email. Of course, you can also join us on waythebrush.com in the description below, and that'll give you links to the Instagrams, the Twitter, Discord, and of course, gives you links to Patreon, which of course I always thank my patrons for their support, and they've been really fantastic. They help keep upgrades and basically help keep the services that are required to keep this show running. I mean, it's not cheap. Anybody who knows, streaming from home and things like that, there are a lot of additional costs. And so, again, the monkeys help offset that cost, and so it makes this show, doable. And of course, I wouldn't do the show if it wasn't for you guys asking your questions, sending me your emails, and, basically just giving me something to do, basically. And and of course, Wave the Brush t-shirts, where you can find your Wave the Brush t-shirts, so that you can look like a connoisseur of anything good and holy in this universe and such. And so I'm also enjoying my favorite beverages while I record this. So yeah, not that I'm getting good and hammed up over here or anything like that, but and of course you probably still hear my fan going because, well, it's warm in my lair. I don't know why. Probably wintertime will come and I'll be sitting down here freezing and such, and you'd be like, ha ha ha, you said it was warm in your lair. But anyway, so Normally I would do a bit of a recap of, week events and stuff like that. And one thing I was seeing, which is the date of this recording, which is the 25th of August, and I was seeing Games Workshop. Now, apparently it's only available in the UK, but apparently you can get a subscription to, what is it, Warhammer Conquest, which is basically like they'll send you a little gift pack every week, and you get like a couple miniatures, some paints, and eventually by the end of it all, you have enough for 2 armies plus a tabletop full of terrain, and it saves you almost like 2/3 of the cost, or a third of the cost, I should say. So you end up paying about 2/3 of what it's all worth when it's all said and done. And I think that's a really fantastic idea. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about that. I mean, unfortunately, it's only available in the UK, and I'm in Canada, and so a lot of you guys are in Canada and the US, and some of you guys are in Europe, of course. Who knows when you're watching this? That maybe, I don't know. But anyway, I thought that was actually fairly interesting that they're doing that. And yeah, let me know what you guys think, because do you think they'll make it available for North Americans and Australians and, Asian and such, and like around the world? Is it be a worldwide service, or do you think it'll only be, in Europe or even just the UK? I don't know. It could be just UK. I have no idea. Maybe they're just trying this out. Maybe they're just testing the waters for something much more. I do like this idea of this kind of subscription-like thing where you basically, like, what if they did this for like regular armies? Like, say if you wanted to start Tyranids, and they had this whole Tyranid start collecting type thing where, week 1 they give you like a box of gaunts and a couple of the paints and a brush, you know what I mean, and then the next week they give you like a box of Tyranids and some more paints, and you know what I mean, and as the weeks go by, you get more and more stuff. I don't know, would that work? I don't know. As I'm kind of saying it out loud, it doesn't have the same kind of vibe. I think because there's no Tyranid terrain. I think if they offered like Tyranid terrain, I think it would make more sense. Or if they were doing it like a 2-player, like it was Tyranids versus, Tau or something like that, and you were getting, both, and basically the same kind of deal, right? But you're getting, more crap kind of thing, right? I don't know, maybe, well, I guess time will tell, really, as far as, how this goes, like, what they're going to offer down the line, because I'm kind of excited for it. And, I mean, like, that's a huge savings over time, and anybody who's like looking to get into this hobby, that's definitely a good gateway into this thing, and it's kind of exciting, and yeah, I'm curious to see where this goes. I never heard hide nor hair of it. All of a sudden they just dropped this thing out there and said, hey, you know what, here's this, and and so yeah, I'm kind of pumped. Of course, with more orc stuff, I seen another buggy out on the Warhammer community site. I seen there was another buggy. It looks like the classic kind of, the Dune buggy, like one that orcs already have, but it looks more like an updated version of that. I'm kind of curious, like, are they going to do like a box set where they release a bunch of these orc cars and they give us another Gorka Morka, or are they going to give us like a new game, kind of like a new Gorka Morka, maybe something more drag racing and stuff like that? Or is it just simply they're gonna just getting ready, geared up to do their orc release? I don't know. I don't know. Do you guys think that they should actually do another Gorka Morka? Maybe more with speed freaks and proper drag racing, or would it like an orc NASCAR kind of be cool, where you basically play around this track and everybody's just kind of racing and doing laps and trying to kill each other and whatever, right? Would something like that be cool? At Adepticon this year, this year, there was a display. They had the big armies on display and stuff like that. And this one group, they had put orc slot cars on a track, and it was like on a little moon or whatever, and they had orc cars going around. I thought that was brilliant. I can't remember what gaming group that was, but if you know what gaming group it was, let me know, because yeah, it was really cool. I took some pictures of it. I don't know if I posted it on Instagram or if it was like on my Twitter or my Facebook or something like that. I think it was on my Facebook. I posted that, but yeah, it was a lot of fun, and old Kris loves himself some Adepticon, and yeah, man, this thing is a really different beast when I'm not really conversing with a lot of people, right? I think that's kind of half the charm of the show, is where I'm kind of just bantering back and forth with a lot of you guys. That's okay, though. I think this will go by fairly quickly. Again, like I said, I wanted to have a show today, and of course, yeah. And, you know what? Let's just, for giggles, just because we kind of need some interaction, I am going to jump into the playground.
That's awesome.
Hey, Kris.
Hey, what's up?
I was like,
Man, that volume.
are dogs allowed in here? They're like, yeah, sure, come on in. I'm like, are you sure? Because it's a Great Dane. I'm like, are you
Yeah, if
sure?
the person knows the temperament of Great Danes, then you're fine.
It's not that. I just like, they're big. I'm like, please. I'm like, keep telling my dog. I'm like, please don't fucking knock it over.
So, of course,
Whenever
whenever we are in Discord,
My best
there
friend,
is
she has a
potentially
Great
more
Dane.
language and
I
such.
love
So,
him,
yeah.
but goddamn is he huge.
Yeah, mine weighs 190.
Are you guys hearing me okay? No, you're not hearing me at all.
Great Dane weighs more than me. I'm not
Yeah,
that
he's a big one.
Hey guys, what's up?
Most Great Danes, if I sit down, can still look me in the eye. If not above my head, definitely.
Yeah, he's not very tall. For
Are you guys
one,
hearing
but
me okay?
He's, yeah, he's really husky. It's like he's ripped, like doing dog squats or something. He lifts.
You sleepy train.
I don't think they're hearing me at all.
Exactly, yeah, he's like getting swole somewhere. Also, hi, Kris.
Are you guys hearing me okay?
If your mic's plugged in. If you're alive.
Are you hearing me
Trying
at
to
all?
talk, but you're not making a sound. It's not for me.
It's
Trying to say something. What does it mean?
It's
Yeah, so apparently they can't hear me. So apparently the one mic input doesn't work,
Hear you scream.
but that's okay because
Yeah, they can. It's called-
we're checking in with some of the boys,
That's true.
and
No, it's
I'm
fine.
disconnecting there, so that's all right. It's kind of fun, kind of good for a laugh. So any guys out there, join us on Discord. We're always talking and laughing and sharing, and we're also talking about painting and stuff, and we're talking whatevers. And again, everything's at waythebrush.com. You'll find a link for the Discord channel there. And so yeah, feel free to join us and say hello in the welcome section if you're brand new. So I think what I'm going to do, without further ado, I think I'm going to jump into the emails. And of course, the email jingle is we always give thanks to Guymere Alfer, aka Carl, aka Beer and Blood Bowl. That's his YouTube channel. Check him out. Beer and Blood Bowl. If you love yourself some beer and you love yourself some Blood Bowl, check him out. Beer and Blood Bowl. It's always fun. I always tune in every once in a while, and I just like listening to them banter back and forth. It's fun listening to those guys talk smack to each other and what have you. But let's do an email right now. Email time. It's email time. And of course I didn't have, look at, I'm doing a pre-record thing and I didn't even have my email ready. Oh man. To be young again. This one is from, who's it from? It's from Kris. Hello, Kris. Different Kris. I hope you're doing well today. There are two parts of this email. Actually, there's more than two parts. He sent me a whole bunch of pieces. The first is, I just wanted to thank you for the quick tips and for Way of the Brush. Since I started the hobby in late December, I found your videos and advice tremendously helpful. I will be sending some pictures of my work to you in another email. This second part is a question. I am looking to pick up Forge World's Alfarius model, and I am looking for some advice. I am torn between trying to paint his armor metallic or non-metallic. What recommendations do you have for each method, such as color choices and method? I really appreciate the help. Sincerely, Kris. So, to address your first part of your email, or the second part I should say, doing it metallic. Well, if you've just been painting since December, I'm going to assume that you are relatively new to this whole painting thing. And doing it in a non-metallic, you may find a little bit overwhelming and a little bit challenging, especially if you're not used to doing blends and glazes and things of that nature. Now, I know I just threw some terms at you. I'm not sure if you are familiar with those, but I do have many videos on those, so you know, rest assured. I would definitely recommend doing it metallic. That's going to be the easiest. So, doing it metallic, I definitely would recommend. I'm pretty sure Games Workshop produce a silver spray, right? Because I'm not live, I can go ahead and peek around. And now I'm pretty sure they sell a metallic spray paint. Do they not? Do they not? Can I find the paints? Ways to paint. That's not it. Types of paint. Sprays. Here we go. Sprays. Do we have anything? They just have Corax, Chaos Black, and Munition. I thought they had the gold as well. Did I fall asleep at some point? Did they not have a gold spray paint? No. So okay. So apparently they don't have a gold spray paint. Army Painter, I'm pretty sure has yeah. Of course, this is saying no. Don't, Chris. Please don't. Don't do this. You have so much to live for. So let's check out Army Painter here. Army Painter. Where's the sprays? Sprays. That's their war paints. Excuse me. Okay, where's their spray paints? They're all about their spray paints, yet they don't make it that easy to find all the crap. Ah, here we go. Color primers. So they have a matte black, matte white, anti-shine, Aegis suit, satin varnish, army green, barbarian, plate mail metal. So they have a metallic spray, and I wouldn't be afraid to use this spray paint. So basically, what I'm going to recommend, because I'm going to assume that you are relatively new to painting, that you use this plate mail spray paint. Okay? And oh no, you're still going to need another color. Damn, I wonder who does a clear. Okay, hold on. Let's do another quick search here. Clear color spray. Who does this kind of thing? I want to say somebody like... Okay, Tamiya apparently produces one. Yes, Tamiya does. They produce a metallic blue, actually. That actually might save you some time there. But it does look like Tamiya offers their transparent colors in spray form. So you might want to look into this, because basically what I'm going to say is, and in fact, if you're going to go with Tamiya, let's go with Tamiya here for a second. Let's indulge ourselves here. Tamiya spray paints. Welcome to Tamiya Inc. And I want America. And let's go with paint. Of course, that wants to be nice and slow. Having wicked internet problems, that's why I'm doing this as a pre-recorded show. So, for anybody who's just kind of tuning in right now, although who would be just tuning in right now? How would you just be just tuning into this? Oh, because I am going to do this as a as a live stream on Twitch. I'm going to do it as a pre-recorded live stream. Anyway, God darn it, where's the paints? Sprays. There we go. They don't make it any easier to find stuff on their side either. Come on. So anyway, what I'm going to suggest is let's take this Tamiya colors here. Now, if they offer a metallic blue, green, or even like a teal spray, I definitely would go with that for your Alpha Legion. Now, with the Alpha Legion, they can have that metallic blueness to them, and you can actually put in, say, a slight bit of green highlight on the edges, or even take a clear green and put it there. You know what I mean? Or you could, yeah, okay, hold on. We got to find the metallics first. Okay, so they have silver, and they offer the clear colors. So we could take the silver, and we could actually impart, say a bit of green on that. Say we do the silver, and we put the green down, and then we can spray the blue on top of it. Oh man, this is going painfully slow. Light blue, fluorescent, brilliant blue, smoke, translucent silver, okay, translucent red, translucent blue, translucent light blue. So actually I would probably go with translucent blue. Or you can even go with a bright silver too. Oh, Tamiya even offers iridescent purple green. And these are all spray cans, by the way. So this is actually fairly interesting. I'm going to have to look more into this, because I normally don't buy a whole lot of Tamiya sprays. I usually buy the bottles of stuff. But if they offer it in spray, that's pretty cool. Okay, so here we go. This is going to require you to spend a little bit of money, but I'm going to assume that's okay by you. Let's go with Tamiya gunmetal. Can I switch to my screen here? I can too. Let's go with Tamiya gunmetal for the base. So imagine we've primed the model in probably like a black or light gray, what have you, but we're giving the model a light primer, okay? I'm talking light. Probably black, that's probably going to be best. Then we give it a spray of gunmetal. We give the models a spray of gunmetal. We don't lay it on heavily, we lay it on nice and evenly, okay? And if you're curious about laying on spray paints and stuff like that, then that's another conversation we can have. But I'm going to assume you at least know how to lay spray paint down. So we lay gunmetal down, and then we come in with bright silver, right here, bright silver. So I'm looking at that, yeah. And we come in with bright silver as a spray next, and we do it like a zenithal spray. We spray the top of the model, so we're looking right down at the models, like we're imagining we're sunlight, and we spray straight bright silver straight down at the model. Boom, we hit it, bang. We got a zenithal highlight on our dark silver. We have varying tones in the silver now, and so now we can lay another color down on top. Okay. Oh, they even have dark metallic blue. Damn, Tammy's got all sorts of crazy colors. Bright gunmetal too. Damn. I would go with the bright silver though. Bright silver. I'd go with gunmetal, then bright silver. And that's going to give you two tones. That's going to give you some very interesting look here. I'm just quickly scanning through here, seeing what kind of metallics they have. And they have a metallic blue, which would enable you to skip a step. But let's stick with our initial gunmetal, silver zenithal, and then a clear blue. Right? That's what we're going to do. That's our initial game plan. And then of course you can always lay in a little green highlight on it. Okay. Another one you could try is, if we can find, do they have green, clear green? Because they have translucent light blue, which I think like a translucent light blue, and if they have a translucent green, they have a translucent green, and you give it just like, say for example, we spray, if you're looking kind of like up at the model, so like you're holding the base and kind of give it a tilt, and you just went like that with a little bit of green, and then turned it around the other side, gave it a little spurts of green, and then came at it from like basically kind of face on, or maybe just a bit above face on, and you hit it with the rest with the blue. So you'll get the two tones of blue-green happening on the model. Now that sounds like a lot of spray painting, but this all should go on fairly lightly. And as long as you don't oversaturate the model, you should be able to pull this off. And in fact, this should probably be the fastest way to get a whole bunch of them done, because then you lay all that metallic blue down, then all that's left is for you to pick out the silver trim and, you know, guns and stuff like that, and that should be a piece of cake. So definitely I would give that a try. I'm curious about this iridescent purple green. I'm curious about that. I want to know what that's like. I'm super curious about that. I'm going to have to delve more into more Tamiya stuff here. Yeah. So again, hopefully, Kris, that helps on that second part. And yeah, so definitely try and check that out. Of course, you know, you don't have to go with Tamiya. You could try and shop around and see if you can find these sprays in other companies. I'm also assuming too that you don't have an airbrush, because if you had an airbrush, then you could also do something different as well. Now it does seem like you're dropping a lot of coin on spray paints, which hopefully, you know, you have the resources that you can do this no problem. And of course, this goes for everybody else out there who's doing something similar, right? Because typically those Tamiya sprays, they're fairly big. They're not huge. They're not like a Krylon can, right? You know, like the big, you know, stuff you find at like Walmart and, you know, Home Depot and stuff like that. It should work. That's how I'd kind of go about it, especially if I was going with Tamiya, because this sounds like a lot of fun. I'm kind of curious about this all myself. And so let's dive in to the second portion of the email, which is picatures. Picatures? Picatures. And why doesn't that want to go back? Go back! Oh, that's exhausting. And so the second part of the email is, hello again, Chris. Since I'm sending these by my phone, I have multiple emails with different models I have painted. This is one of the very first models I ever painted in late December. Sincerely, Chris. And so let's have a look at some of his early work. Let me make sure I'm zoomed in on this properly. Actually, let's go with this one. Whoops. Whoops. Don't worry. Fear not, people. There we go. Okay. So we're going to go with this. And so here he is. He's laid it out. And I mean, like, it looks pretty clean. Looks like we used technical on the base. Looks like we tried to do some highlighting on the blades. Very good. Looks like we were going for a bit of like that non-metallic metal vibe. Looks like a pure straight silver laid onto the model. I don't know if that was by spray or if that's by hand. It almost looks like it's done by hand. It almost looks like you had like a bit of like bit of luck doing a bit of like, it looks like you're glazing or two brush blending. I definitely would pick up some known oil gloss, thin it down just a little bit, and apply it into the recesses and such, just to create a bit of separation between like the knee pads and the leg foot joins, you know, the elbow or the shoulder pad trim, stuff like that, just to get some contrast going on the model. I realize this is your, you know, your first models, but you know, you could always come back, touch them up, what have you. Looks really good though, nice and bright. I like that though. I like it. And so let's jump to the next portion of his email, which is, I'm gonna get lost during this. Okay, so here is the second portion. Some more pictures, picatures. Nice flat red on that cape. Very interesting sword. A bit of nice transition going on the blade, actually. Nice and clean on the icons and such. Looks like you could have been a little bit more careful, but I mean, if these were painted some time ago, I mean, I'm sure your skills have improved. Actually, that's really good transitioning on that sword. Especially if this is some of your earlier stuff. That's really good. Yeah. Other than the contrast on the armor, I mean, like, you're doing a really good job. I mean, like, you know, I mean, for being relatively new to the hobby, I'm going to assume. Man, this next one here, holy moly, look at this. Digging this. This is nice and clean. We're getting fancier with the bases. It looks like we laid a little bit of black down on some points here. Looks like we did some shade washing, like the lettering in the armor and stuff like that. Overall, I mean, like, it looks really good. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, I'm not editing that out, by the way. Really good stuff. Like, it's nice, bold colors. It's nice and clean. And, you know, for somebody who's relatively new to the hobby, I mean, like, you know, it's good work. I'm going to assume this guy, this was a spray. You laid down the silver spray on this guy. It looks like we might have touched some points with some highlighting with some golds. Either way, when you're starting out, it's really good that you are, you know, trying to keep things very nice and neat with your paint jobs. And so, you know, really good stuff. Really good stuff. And so here we're moving on. He's got Necrons now. And I'm really liking the transitions in the weapons. And the eyes, getting that little glowiness. The paint looks like it's nice and smooth. Looks like we got highlights going on the metal. We got like little edge highlights going on. Very, very good. Yeah, the paint looks like it's being laid on nice and smooth. Again, looks like we got little edge highlights going on the gold and such, and the metals. I think that's fantastic. Looks like we threw a little gloss on the orbs. Nice touch. Very, very nice. Very, very cool. And so let's, I think this might be the last one. So here's his most recent finished model. And the quick tips were he found very helpful. And so here is his latest model that he's finished, and this is really impressive. Really nice work, nice and clean. I like the sword. I like the transition you got going on there. Now, did you spray it gold and then put the blue in, or did you do blue first and then lay the gold on top? Either way, really nice work. Yeah, I did. Oh, I see. I see. The U of the ultramarine on his shoulder pad. He's highlighted that. Looks like he's got just a bit of blending going on, some of that, and it looks like he highlighted similar ways to which I think I showed in the video. I think. Either way, really good stuff. Really nice work. Nice work on the flames, on both the on the stand and the sword. He did the helmet. He did the helmet and the bear head as well. But this is really good. I like the base. I like how you blended that, you know, the scenic element to the rest of the base. It does look, I can see where, you know, it looks like you were following pretty closely to the quick tips that I had shown. I'm glad that you found it helpful. Really nice work, nice and clean. Yeah. Good stuff. Really good stuff. I like that you got the little minuscule highlights going on in the gold. You leave it predominantly, you know, gold. And it can be kind of tricky, you know, getting those color transitions in the blue areas. But I think, you know, when you're ready to spend way more time, you know, trying to get into all those little nooks and crannies, I think you'll have no problem, you know, accomplishing that. And yeah, so again, thank you, Kris, for sending that in. Awesome, awesome stuff. And again, you know, I'm sure the monkeys will leave comments below about how nice that was. Yeah, really fantastic job. Really nice. And I'm glad that the quick tips did help. For anybody else out there, the way Kris had painted that, he was, I had done way back when that box set I think came out. I had done Reboot Gilliman for quick tips, and I did like a whole beginning and end. I actually, when I was painting that model, I actually messed it up, and I think I did say that in the quick tips that I messed it up because basically I started off, I think, doing the gold on it entirely first and then laying the blue in, but then when I was masking it, I ended up destroying the paint job, and so I ended up stripping the entire model and then redoing them in blue and then laying the gold down. And I think maybe that's what he did, because that's kind of looks a bit similar to how I painted my finished version. And so yeah, I'm gonna say that's what he did. He went blue first and then laid, but then again, it kind of looked, some points looked like the blue was really nicely tucked into areas. And I don't know, you're gonna have to let me know, Kris, how you, which method you went with. Did you go gold first then blue, or did you go blue then gold? Because in those quick tips I showed both. And so yeah. But so thank you for sending that in. Awesome, awesome stuff. Normally, I'm kind of like, oh, let's check out the chat. But you know what? Normally, we don't have a chat. So I think we're going to continue on with emails. What time are we at here? Okay. We're doing good. We're doing good. What time are we at here? Oh, yeah, plenty of time. I was hoping to shoot for about an hour show. And so I'm thinking that, this should be about an hour show. Plus or minus my ramblings. And, yeah. And so basically, hopefully, it's going to be worthwhile for everybody. And, of course, even though I'm doing this as an email show, I want you guys to continue to send me emails as well after this, because I'm going to be all caught up on my emails after this. So, yeah. So let's do another email. This one is from Sebastian. Hi, Chris. I don't know if it's appropriate to just to email you with a question, since you are probably very busy. But I'm kind of stuck right now, and a little short advice from the master himself would be very appreciated. Well, thank you. I recently got into Age of Sigmar with the Sylvaneth army and worked out a paint scheme together with this local store manager. Since I am not the most experienced painter, I wanted to go for a darker grayish look, along the lines of a darkened birch tree. Found this, and he links to a JPEG, which I will have a look at in a second. As a reference, the color scheme that we settled on was the following, using Citadel colors. Prime black, Dua gray spray with Mechanicus standard spray can from an angle above, similar to a Zenithal highlight. Okay. Wash everything with a black shade, non-oil. Dry brush everything with Dawnstone. Dry brush Administratum gray. Dry brush Ulthran gray. Dry brush Praxeti white. Steps 5 to 7 will be used on less and less parts of the model to do highlights. Now, it's okay. Problem I have in doing this, the shade over the entire model, I feel it tones out almost all the Zenithal highlight, and I don't know whether I should be doing a wash here at all. If I were to apply a colored glaze, shade or glaze, I would gain the effect of the pre-shade. But how do I handle the case of the Zenithal highlight already being the main color tone of the model? Should I just do a black wash or go straight to the dry brushing part? Or should I go an entirely different route to achieve what I want? I have attached a picture for reference with, left to right, a dryad I tried the color recipe on, and the model has steps 1 to 3 done, and the model that was only has spraying steps 1 and 2 done. Okay, I understand if this is a problem, it's too lengthy and not within your time to answer. I regardless thought I'd try my luck, as I'm really looking forward to your new beginner painting series, as I feel there are many things in the painting I should know by now, but still haven't figured out. In any case, thank you very much, and keep up the awesome work you are doing for us, for all of us. Best regards, Sebastian. And so let's have a look at his examples here that he has. And so the first one is he's completed up most of the steps to that effect. And the other two are just the first 2 steps, right? Black and then a Zenithal of Mechanicus Standard Gray. And so he's concerned that, I guess that as he builds up the highlights, that he's losing a lot of that Zenithal look. Which he kind of is. Now, I think what might be initially looking at it, might be the problem, is that he's going too far with the white. And let's zoom in a bit. Yeah, we'll zoom in just a couple hairs here. You see how it looks like now, I don't mind this, that he's gone more on the face, because again, you want to draw more to the face, right? But he's got a lot on the fingers. And I do like, he's got a lot on the branches. He's laid enough paint down that, he's not obscuring details at all, which is a good thing. I do kind of like the look of the darker dryads. Oh, you know what? I didn't check out was his reference material on what he was talking about. And so this is his reference. Now, this was not painted by him. This is painted by another artist. I don't know who the other artist is, and I really don't feel like sharing this a whole lot. So, just because I don't know who the artist is, and I don't really, want to have to, argue over permission of displaying his piece. But anyway, and so you guys all had a quick look at it. I'm still observing it here. Now, mind you, there's more surface here that you can play with, but if I was to try and quickly duplicate this look on a model, I think it's mostly right. Going with a black prime, give it a zenithal of Mechanicus Standard Gray. I would then go with another dry brush of Dawnstone. I wouldn't bother with going too many highlights. I would go with Dawnstone next, and Dawnstone would go on. Let me go back to. Yeah, go back to your picture here. So, how you got it on the middle two here? Like I like this guy on the end here on the far right. I like that guy. He looks cool. So, basically, I would have those, and then I would come in with Dawnstone, and I would build up the highlights, picking at areas kind of like how that reference picture looks. So basically, I would bring the highlights from the knee down, just ever so slight down, like about halfway down the shin of Dawnstone. Very, very light dry brush. On the hands, the elbow towards the wrist, and from the fingertips back towards the wrist. The face, I would give it a nice little dry brush. The branches on the back, I would bring them about halfway in towards the shoulders. The hand that's holding the axe, I would bring the a dry brush again towards the elbow. Just a little bit on the shoulder, down towards the elbow. Again, because basically drawing, like looking at that reference picture, he is predominantly a darker brown, but the big bark areas are a gray. So he has dark brown elements going on, but he also has these gray elements going on. So I would build those up, and then I probably would finish with something like Uthran gray. Very, very light. I wouldn't bother going to white. It's not really necessary. You want to stay within the tones of gray. Okay? So we're going to go with a primer black. We can go with the Zenithal Mechanicus light gray. We go with a light dry brush, very controlled, but predominant areas of the model. So in Dawnstone, so like for example, the elbow, we're bringing the highlight up towards the wrist. On the fingers, we're bringing the highlight towards the wrist. On the shoulder, we're bringing it down, right? On the branches on the back, we're bringing them in towards the shoulder. So we're just going lighter gray, and then we're trying to create a bit of a transition through, right? So we're building it downwards. On the shin, from the kneecap, I would bring the highlight down towards the ankle. From the foot, I would bring it from the toes in towards the ankle. The thighs from the knee up towards the pelvis. On the chest, again, I would bring it down, again, very, very lightly, allowing more color to build up at the high point. Now, was the Zenithal pre-shade important? Yes and no. Because it's going to give you that initial depth. Now, the next part of this is you can give the model a shade wash, especially if you want to have, because what I'm looking at on the picture here of the reference material, of the reference model, I'm seeing brown hues, which lets me think that they hit it with Agrax Earthshade. I think that's what you should do. So after the Dawnstone, thin down a bit of Agrax Earthshade. Just thin it down. I wouldn't use water. I would use medium. Use a bit of medium, like 2 drops of Agrax to like 1 drop of Lamian medium. Give it a little bit of a thinning, and then apply it all over the model. Everything. Just like a broad shade wash over the entire model. Let it try and creep into some of the recesses like armpits and You know what I mean? Under the chin, stuff. You know what I mean? The usual recess type spots. Let that sit, but you definitely want to try and pick out some of the texture, especially on the light areas. Once that is thoroughly dry, then we'll come in with Uthran Gray. And very, very little paint on the brush. Very, very little. And you're going to give it a dry brush the same way we had done with the gray, but at this time you're going to keep a very, very light hand. And you're going to just capture you're looking to catch just the edges of stuff. And that's all you're looking to do. You're not looking to create a big transition of color there. You're looking to just catch those edges. And then, of course, you can come in with the blue on the areas as well, if you're going to go by your reference picture. But otherwise, yeah, it should be relatively straightforward. Is the zenithal pre-shade necessary? Sure. Because you're going to get some of those high points in a lighter gray. But it's all going to get knocked down when you throw the Agrax Earthshade on it, and it's going to change a lot of the values towards browns. It's still going to be gray, but it's going to have slight brown hues into it as well. But that's kind of what you want. Your first example is too white, so I really wouldn't bother going all the way to Praxeti white on this. I would keep it just a very hint of Uthran Gray. And as I've mentioned before many, many times, dry brushing is a very subtle art. You have to take a lot of the paint off your bristles. And if you can feel the model moving in your hand as you're dry brushing, like you feel the model just kicking all over the place, you're dry brushing too hard. Be lighter, be gentler. And like I said, with this final highlight, you're not looking to lay too much color down. You're only looking to capture edges. And so like on the fingertips, you're looking just to come back just a bit. On the wrist, you're looking just to come back a bit. The elbow, just to back a bit. The face, you're looking just to catch just some of the details. It's going to be a very, very subtle effect. Because if you are planning on throwing the blue onto the model, like your reference picture, you're going to build that blue to a brighter state, and that's going to provide a lot more contrast on your models. Having slightly deeper tones on the model, and then once you throw the blue on and build the blue back up to a bright blue, it's going to be nice and contrasty. So hopefully that works out for you. Hopefully that made a lot of sense. I hope it did. Thank you, Sebastian, for sending that in. It was a really good question. Yeah, and again, yeah, the big thing is do you really need the Mechanicus Zenithal spray? Not really, because you could just prime the model, gave it a prime or a base coat of Zenithal or a Mechanicus Standard Gray, given it a dry brush of Dawnstone, thinned out Agrax Earthshade, applied to the entire model, and then gave it a light dry brush along its edges in Uthran Gray, and been done. Right? Now again, because that model is such a bigger model, you can get more play of color on that surface versus the Dryads where not so much. Right? There are other ways to build color transitions similar to your reference picture, doing either glazes or blends and stuff like that. But if you're going to just work with just dry brushing and you are relatively new to this all, I definitely would stick with that. If you can prime it gray, give it a Zenithal Mechanicus Standard, that's fine. That's fine. That will give you some varying depth, because some points on the model will be black, and especially if you have a whole bunch of these guys to do and you want to get them done and make them look good, then yes, you'll be fine. But you could just as easily give the entire model a spray of Mechanicus Standard Gray, and then give him a dry brush of Dawnstone, and then a very minimal light highlight of Uthran Gray. Give it a try. Let me know. Send me pictures of your results, and let me know if it worked out for you, and if this was at all helpful. And yeah, so I look forward to hearing from you again, Sebastian. You know, don't be discouraged. Just try it out on another model. Just try it out on, well, one of those guys, because you already got halfway there, right? You've already got it, and we're just looking to build. And you're only going to use 2 more colors, really. Well, 3 more colors, actually, sorry. So you're going to use Dawnstone, thinned out Agrax Earthshade, and then just very, very light Uthran Gray. Alrighty? Because really what you're looking for is to create a bit more transition with the Dawnstone on the points. Like I said, you're going to build that color with more of the Dawnstone color, right? You're going to build about a third of the way, or 2/3 of the way, right? So from the fingers, 2/3 in, 2/3 in, 2/3, 2/3, 2/3, branches, right? 2/3, you know what I mean? So most of the color is going to be laid there, and then you do the Agrax Earthshade. which takes that gray down a bit, but also gives it a bit of a brown hue, which is what I see in that larger model. So, like I said, hopefully that helps. I was gonna say, let's look at the live chat, but we're not live. We are pre-recorded. Holy moly! Whoa! I better hurry up because I actually don't have that much time to do this. I was like, I got about an hour. I said I can hammer one of these out in an hour. So let's do another email because we can, because we shall, and we have to. Let's do another email jingle because we like Guymere Alfer's work, aka Carl, aka Beer and Blood Bowl. Just love listening to these tunes. So here we go. Headphones. email time. Email time. Whoops. Sorry, Zach. This is another email. This is from Zach. Yeah, Zach. Oh no, we already looked at this previous one. And so yeah, here's no wait, he sent that 2 days ago. That was 4 days ago. I think he might have added another one on. Either way, we'll just do right from the top. Screw it. Chris, I'm a long-time listener, first-time caller, and a huge fan. I'm looking for advice on how to tone down the gloss on how to highlight the cape on the Lord Contagion in the attached picture. Thank you in advance. And so here is his Lord Contagion, and he's got a bit of gloss looking on the end of the cloak, right? And so he wants to tone that down. Well, really easily, just take a little bit of Lamian Medium and apply it broadly over the entire cloak. Not heavily, just take a little bit in your brush and just bring it down. And, you know, and that's it. Allow it to dry, and it'll knock that shine right out of there. And it won't change the color value or anything like that. It's not going to mess your colors up or, you know, do anything funny or anything like that. And so here are some more work in progress. I like this bright, is it red or magenta? Either way, I really like it. It's really super contrasty. Nice transitions in the flames. Really nice. I'm looking at those flames above his head and everything. Oh, wait, we can't see that. There we go. Nice transitions going on there. Ooh, look at that. Nice and bright. Nice spot colors in there. Ooh, we got some disgusting gooey bits in his guts and everything. It looks like we used some Nurgle's Rot maybe in there. Really nice. Love the rust. A little bit of splattered blood all over him. Very, very nice. You actually don't see a lot of Nurgle models with the blood splatters. It's usually always Khorne or somebody. You don't see like a lot of Tzeentch models with, you know, just covered in gore or anything like that, right? It's usually just Khorne. Khorne's always blood for the blood god. Whoops, there was a problem displaying this image. Good gravy. Oh, here we go. There was more to his email. Hey, Chris. He sent the picture first, then the email. Hey, Chris, I finished my Lord of Contagion tonight, my first painted HQ ever. And I figured I would send you another email with the finished project. I am still trying to figure out how to tone down the glossy finish after using washes. Thanks in advance, Zach. And so, yeah, Zach, you're just simply going to... you're just going to hit that with some Lamian Medium. Just a little bit of Lamian Medium. And just apply it. Not heavy. Just dip your brush in, just wipe the excess off, and apply. Dip your brush in, you know what I mean? Apply it like you would kind of like the paint, but not heavily, right? Just and a little layer. And that's all it takes, and it'll knock the shine right off. If you don't have Lamian Medium, you can simply just use matte varnish. Vallejo produces matte varnish. I really wouldn't use a spray, because sometimes the sprays you can end up laying too heavily. And yeah, whereas, you know, if it's just the cloak, you want to knock that shine. Yeah, because you have like the Nurgle's Rot on the front, right? And you don't want to hit it with a spray because then you'll knock that shine off the gory bits, right? So you want to keep some glossy parts. You want to have some matte parts, right? So Lamian Medium is the best way to go. That's probably one of the best way to go. Otherwise, find yourself some matte varnish, like from Vallejo. I think Privateer Press sells some. I think Reaper sells some. So definitely that'll be your best bet. And so thank you, Zach, for sending that in. Awesome. And the model looks great. The transitions that you got on the flames, those are awesome. Looks great. The transition on the cloak looks really good too, don't get me wrong. But yeah, the flames are like one of the first things that I noticed anyway. Another email. This one is from Ben Ellis. Hello, Monkey Lord and monkeys. Titled A Bug's Life. Here is the entry to my first painting competition. I don't know what kind of accent I'm doing there. It's made up. I have noticed a few parts that I have missed, but I feel I can use this to learn from them. Man, let's start from the beginning. Here is the entry to my first painting competition. I have noticed a few parts that have been missed, but I feel I can use them to learn from them. Also, it has been fun. Kind regards, Ben. Now, has the competition already come and gone by the time I'm reading this? Or is there still time? Just curious. Ooh, look at that. Ooh. Very nice. Wolves are just pounding away on the bugs. Really, really cool. Little diorama, each one. That's really good. Really good stuff. I like. Anything like that I could offer as far as like, I don't know. I think I've mentioned before, like I can see like you dry brush a lot of your color transitions, and I think you might be ready to start graduating from dry brushing in that regards, because like I look at this model here and I see the shoulder pad, and you know I can see like that chalky finish, right? I look at the armor, like his power glove, and I can see like this chalky finish, and I think you're ready to move forward with your dry brushing skills. I mean, you obviously have a very good handle on laying it down and being very gentle, and you know what I mean. But I think what you might find is that chalky finish, you know. Now in person, these models will probably look fantastic, and you probably don't even notice the chalkiness. But it's because we're looking at it through a camera lens that we do notice the chalkiness. And if you're really going to start getting serious about doing like pieces for competitions, I think you're ready to move on to glazing and feathering and blending and all those things. And I think you probably should start looking into creating those and using dry brushing minimally, just to finish off edges. Like how you have on like a power glove, how just the edges are caught. That's really fantastic dry brushing. The shoulder pad, you know what I mean? I can see the transitions occurring there. But again, you know, if you're bringing it to more to a competition type standard, you definitely want to, you know, up the game as it were. But really nice work, man. Thank you very much for sending that in. Awesome stuff. I hope you do well in your competition. And again, even if you don't place anything, which I can't imagine you wouldn't, I imagine you probably will place something. You know, take it as a learning experience. Ask the judge, what exactly, you know, where did I lose points? You know, don't take it personally, you know, unless of course, you know, the judge looks at you and goes, oh, this guy's, you know, then it's personal, and then of course the whole competition is BS. But you know, yeah. So here we are. Time we at here. Only a few minutes left. I only really wanted to do this for an hour. I think maybe I will stop here, because I kind of wanted to do this one live. Yeah, how many emails do I have left here? How many emails have I done? I've done a whole bunch with Kris. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I did 4 emails. 4 or 5 emails. And I'm only back by... Yeah. Oh, I probably should finish this one. It's getting dinner time. That's why I'm getting impatient. I'm also thirsty. Oh, I don't know. I guess we do another email. All right, we do another email. Well, you know what? Screw it. I said I was going to do all the emails. Let's do all the emails. Let's just do them all. This one is from Dark Commission. This is, he teased us last week with a little snapshot of this guy. Hi, Mighty One. Here is the latest bust, a steampunk version of Captain Ahab by Scale 75. I took your advice and refined the hairline bordering the face. I left it on the forehead as it looks quite cool to the naked eye. Yeah, no problem. However, after taking pics, I realized I had forgotten the eyebrows, so by the time you see this, they will have been sorted. Same goes for the left eye, right one in the pic, which is a little blobby. The box art used non-metallic metal for the gun metals, but I chickened out and did them in metals, which I'm not too happy with. I wanted to emulate wood for the coat, so I stippled a couple layers of lighter shades and then layered a glaze of the base color on top. I think it is beautifully sculpted and modeled, but yet again, I think that the sculpting of the hair is way too chunky in relation to the rest. I added Scale 75 Fuchsia to the skin tone. I don't know, fuchsia? Anyway, to the skin tone for a natural looking bluish to both the face and hand. Took around 20 hours to paint, 10 hours to photograph, and the photos are still not good. Anyway, enough of my rambling. CNC sorely needed as always. Cheers, John, aka Dark Commission. So let's have a look. And you know what? Like, oh, did I have it on the wrong damn thing again? Son of a beehive. I think this model looks fantastic. The skin tone is great. I love the red tones in his face, his nose, and his cheeks. I mentioned that before. I do like that you did knock the hairline back a bit. The wood texture on the rifle so far looks great. The metallics, it doesn't bother me. I think you just need a little bit more a bit of that artificialness to the metallics, like doing the edge highlighting, you know, throwing a little bit of deeper shades and higher points. Have you ever seen doing metallics, like true metallics, but doing them like non-metallics, where basically you throw deeper shades in the upper portions, give a bright edge highlight to things? Have you ever seen that? I imagine you might have. Either way, you might want to try that with the metallics, doing like a non-metallic metal effect with metallics, if that makes sense. If not, I can clarify later on. The tones in the fur, I really enjoy. The blue, I love the texture of this whole thing, man. This is really fantastic. I think you really nailed it with the texture in the fabrics. I think you're spot on. But yeah, the hair does take you out of it, and that's no fault of yours. I think that is the sculpt. I think with the sculpt something like this, I think maybe in the future, maybe use a more detailed brush to introduce more texture to those big blobby portions, maybe to mitigate that kind of that bold sculpting on the hair, you know. Maybe create more texture, just like you know how you did the rifle butt, how you create the texture there. Maybe create the texture in the hair. Maybe is that what we're talking about? Because I mean, you're spot on with the fabrics, man. Like that belt looks fantastic. Yeah, it looks like you did throw a little bit of an edge highlight on the golds and stuff. Again, though, you see how you have that deeper tone through the middle? Like I'm looking at like the end of the butt of the rifle. And I think if you had a deeper tone of gold up in that upper portion and then it faded down into a brighter gold, I think you'd be a lot happier. Now you can achieve that either by, you know, wet blending the golds or glazing the golds or anything like that. I really wouldn't use shade washes unless, of course, you're using the gloss shade washes. But even then, I would stick with mostly the colors to achieve that luminescence, either through glazes or blends. The wood texture looks fantastic, man. That's really fantastic. The leather, I love the way you've done that leather. And the coat. The coat is, that texture is just right on. Nice and subtle. The flesh, I think, is just fantastic, man. On a different note, okay, see how his hand? Now this is we're not talking about painting now. We're talking about photography. See how the hand is a little bit blurry? What you need to do is increase the f-stop on your camera so that you have more depth of field. And then you focus about the middle of your depth of field. So you focus, say, like on his little scarf that's coming out from his neck there, like the portion that's closest to his his collarbone, and about there looks like about be the middle of the depth of field on that miniature, and that should keep everything in focus. But yeah, that's what you're gonna want to do. You want to open the f-stops way up, so you're gonna need more light, or you're gonna need to switch your camera almost to like to bulb. Where you're keeping the shutter open longer, but then you're going to need to want to switch the camera to a timer mode, because any jittering, like if your hand is touching the camera while it's taking the picture, it's going to blur the image, right? And so you probably ran into that problem if you're using like a DSLR. But yeah, I do like how you've corrected the face though. That's really fantastic. Oh, is that it? That was it. Yeah, so can we zoom in a bit on the face here? And we recall, yeah, see how the hairline, it doesn't feel so cartoony. Yeah, and you said the eyebrows, you forgot about the eyebrows. Yeah, and see how the hairline looks fine. Actually, yeah, the hairline does work. And the mustache and the hairline around like his cheeks and some of that. And the eyebrows, he said probably going to get fixed. This looks like you mostly stippled the paint in. Is it like wet stippling? Is that how you did that? Dark Commission, you're going to have to tell me what you did there. To achieve all this texturing. It looks like you stippled a lot of your effect in, which is fantastic. Don't get me wrong, man. That's fantastic stuff. Awesome work, Dark Commission. Thank you for sending that in. Awesome, awesome stuff. That's just fantastic work, man. The colors are spot on. I love the subdued nature of it all. The hair, I mean, despite the hair, it still looks, the hair looks great. Don't get me wrong, the hair looks great. The flesh, though, the flesh is what, like, the way you got all that transition going on in the flesh and the ruddiness in his cheeks. Yeah, it looks like it's a cold morning, and he's like, he's puffing away on his pipe. But awesome work, Dark Commission. Thank you for sending that in. Fantastic, man, just fantastic. Okay, so another email. This one is again from Kris. Hello again, Kris. Kris? Hello again, Kris. I have a question for you regarding color scheme. I have recently picked up a model from CreatureCaster. Picture of the model for reference, and I will be painting it as a gift for my brothers. Brothers, plural? The colors he requested is a bright green, roughly the equivalent of Citadel's Moot Green, black and silver. Very, very interesting. Excuse me. The green will be the main color. In the attached picture is where the blue will be. I was wondering how I could go about highlighting such a bright green, as that is the main body color. I have that about mixing Mood Green with a Show-Empty Bone or Screaming Skull. What is your opinion? I would really appreciate your help. Sincerely, Kris. And so the reference material is from CreatureCaster. And this is from CreatureCaster's website. I love CreatureCaster's work. I'm a big fan of their stuff, and I highly recommend their models for anybody out there who is on the fence about picking up a model of theirs. Don't. Go ahead, pick it up, because their stuff is great. And so where the blue of the flesh is going to be green, and it's going to be black and silver. Is that what he said? Black and silver? Whoops, I gotta change it back. Yeah, so it's going to be black and silver with that moot green. So, Kris, with that kind of color scheme, I think that's going to look fantastic. I think especially if you keep like a nice deep dark black in a lot of areas, silver as like on the weapon and stuff like that, and then that flesh is that bright green, especially if it's building brighter towards that chest and goes into a moot green along the outer portions. I think really using Screaming Skull as your highlight color, I think would work fantastically. You could use white as well. yeah, I think the Screaming Skull would probably be one of the better ways because it kind of desaturate the highlights, and whereas white will just make kind of this, you know, really kind of limey, minty green, whereas Screaming Skull will give you a bit more of a desaturated look almost. It'll still have the hints of yellows in there because Screaming Skull has those yellows, but it'll still I think it'll look better with the moot green adding a bit of Screaming Skull. So what do you do? Well, if you're relatively new to the painting world, okay, well, and I mean, judging by your last model, it seems like you got a good handle on blends and creating color transitions. So you're going to go maybe about 2 or 3 color transitions. Now here's how I would go if I was going to do this model myself in moot green as my primary base. So I base coat the entire model in moot green. I would probably take something like moot green and take something like, say, Sybarite green, mix them together in roughly, say, 2 moot green to 1 Sybarite. I would thin that way down, make it a shade wash, and give that model a shade wash of that. So it doesn't, because you want to have a bit of contrast in it. You're going to have those black elements on there, but you're going to want to have just a little bit, and you can apply it. And if you have Liquitex Flow Aid, you can turn any color into a shade wash. If you don't have Liquitex Flow Aid, go pick it up. I have many videos using Liquitex Flow Aid, so if you're not too sure, you can go ahead and check those out. A lot of videos I do. Of course, if you're not sure, you can always email me again about using Liquitex Flow Aid and making shade washes. I can always do that, you know. So I would do that just to create a shade wash, just to get into some of the nooks and crannies and get some of those details and get just a little bit more contrast. Then I would go back with moot green, probably like 3 parts green to 1 part Screaming Skull, and do a light little layering, starting at the chest and then kind of building out and building onto high points of the muscles and going after the big muscle groups and highlighting like the big portions. So like the shoulder muscle, I do that entire shoulder muscle, leaving just a little bit of the moot green and a little bit of that shade wash appearing in the recesses, right? Then I would go 2 to 1, 2 moot green to 1 Screaming Skull, and then maybe a light, very, very light dry brush of moot green and Screaming Skull, a 1 to 1, and use that in a very, very light dry brush and just catch just the high points of details. Because I don't know if that, oh no, I think that's drawn in. I think that kind of chaos symbol like on the chest, like the arrows, I think that's drawn in. I don't think that's sculpted onto the model. If it is sculpted onto the model, that'll be perfect for capturing that detail. And a light dry brush just to catch just the edges of things, right? Oftentimes, I always recommend just a light dry brush just to capture just some of those final little edges and details and really kind of bring out like the scales on his legs. It'll just bring out just that thin little line on there. And that's what you want to do with just that final little dry brush. Then, if you're not 100% happy with that, maybe it seems a little too bright green or something, you can always come in with, say, a little bit of thinned out Way Watcher green. Citadel makes the green glaze. It's the green glaze. You can use a little bit of Lamy medium, thin that out ever so slightly, and you can give the model an entire glaze of that. And that'll marry all those transitions together. And it'll give you this really, really vibrant green. Now, it will push the color towards more of a yellowy green, but moot green is a bright yellow green anyway, so it should be all fairly bright, and it should just have this glowing effect. And wherever else you have the black on the model, it should all just really kind of contrast really, really nicely. I think that'll be really, really kick-ass. You're definitely, Kris, you will have to send me pictures of when it is done. Yeah, definitely, man. I got to see this. So let me know when you start working on it, and you know, when you start doing stuff, because I definitely want to see the work in progress on that. Our final email is up for grabs here. What time are we at? Hour 14. We're doing good. Man, this is turning out way better than I thought it would. So here is our final email. This is from T Walker, aka Tim. Hey Kris, I hope all is well. Kris, I am writing to ask you for some advice on painting white. This is a color that I have always avoided, and I have recently come across an old dwarf dragon slayer fig. I believe in Age of Sigmar he is called Unforged. However, his shorts are white, and I would like to paint them. Is there a simple but effective method to this? If you could offer some wisdom, that would be great. Also, I have one more question for you regarding Games Workshop paint style. When I first started painting, I would follow this method religiously, which was base coat, darkest color, wash, mid-tone, and then edge highlight, etc. However, recently I have started base coating with the mid-tone, wash, reapply base tone, mid-tone, and then highlight. So, for example, I was painting a standard Caucasian flesh tone, and I would base coat in Cadian flesh tone, wash, reapply Cadian flesh tone, and then highlight, leaving out Bugman glow stem. What is your view on this method? I find it quicker for me and less stark. However, I would love a master's opinion. Please find attached couple plague monks I have painted for Chaos Faction that I have been putting together. Recently learned how to play Age of Sigmar, and I'm really enjoying it. For someone like me who is always slightly overwhelmed by the rules for fantasy as a youngster, I am finally getting a taste of how awesome wargaming is. Keep up the great work. All the best, Tim. So, thank you, Tim, for the email. So, to answer the first part of your email, because we got a few things going on in this email. So, first thing, advice painting white. So, painting white, basically, I would recommend, okay, first of all, if you're starting right from the beginning, right, so it's a bare plastic, bare metal, bare whatever, right, prime it. Prime the model in a light gray or prime it white. Don't prime it black, okay, because prime it black, you often have a harder time building up the color, and you often end up building just too thick a paint layer on to the model. So prime it white. Then, I definitely would, if you want to go for a nice contrasty kind of white, with, say, lots of color depth into the white, so you're not too concerned that it looks like white, but it is a white object. I definitely would base coat in, say, Celestra Gray. If you find that maybe a little too dark, which some do, you can base coat in Uthran Gray. Uthran Gray? Yeah, Uthran Gray. And then edge highlight in white. And of course, oftentimes, what I will do is I will start off with Celestra Gray, then give it a broad highlight in Uthran, and then an edge in white, and that'll give me my white. Or sometimes what I'll do, if it's like, say for example, it's like Space Marines, or it's got broad surfaces, or something like that, I will go Uthran Gray, so I'll take Celestra Gray, break it down into a shade wash, and just edge, or just recess shade areas, and then do an edge highlight in white. So that's often one of the best ways of doing white, is actually concentrate on more grays and then white. Now, Ceramite White from Citadel is actually a really good white, and will actually sit on top of black very, very well. About 2-3 coats, it'll do. Of course, you do want to thin the color down just so that you're not overwhelming the surface, obscuring details, and, avoid brush strokes, and in the usual fashion in which I describe, laying base coats down. So, again, so if you're doing this guy's shorts, yeah, I would probably go with, because it's such a small detail, I'd probably go Uthran Gray, take a little bit of Celestra Gray, thin it down with just medium, recess shade just little areas close to like the belt line and maybe in the butt crack and, in between the groin and stuff like that, and then edge highlight in white. And that should give you a really good white, stark white look to it. The second part of your email, doing that tone, yeah, I've often described, I actually been, like the way I often work nowadays, for the most part, is I'll start with the mid-tone on the model, and I'll shade down one, and I'll highlight up one. And that's the way I often work these days. I actually don't like to work too far down, because then you're laying a whole bunch of layers down. Now, it works for Citadel, because you're laying that base color down on the entirety, you're shade washing, which usually just falls into the recesses, right? And then you edge highlight. And then you might do you might do 2 edge highlights. So it's just the edges they're capturing, and the base of the paint is usually just that flat color, right? And it's usually just the edges. All the highlighting occurs along the edges. And that's fine, and it has a very nice style to it, and it looks really great. Works for Space Marines. Space Marines look awesome, all edge highlighted. But yeah, as far as working with flesh and stuff like that, yeah, I would. That's kind of the way I like to work. I like to work with Acadian flesh tone. I'll break Bugman's glue down into a shade wash, and do that, and then highlight up with Kislev flesh or Acadian flesh tone and Kislev flesh as a mix, and build up that way. And I'll try and work up to Pallid Witch flesh. But yeah, that's often the way I like to work. I'll work with my mid-tone, and then I'll shade down one, and I'll highlight up one, and that's just a fast way of getting it done. And then of course we have the pictures of his Plague Monks. So let's have a look at his picatures of his Plague Monks. Very nice. Nice solid greens. Broad shade wash. I think a little edge highlighting you could do there. Probably something like, I don't know, like Nurgling Green? Because this base tone looks a bit like Strachan or Warboss. Either way, just a little edge highlight, I think, and just create a little bit of color depth and everything like that. But really good. I like it. Like the rusty metal on the weapons. Flesh looks really good. Ooh. Whoa. Oh. That picture was half loaded. Look at that. I thought it was me. I thought my computer was messing up. You fooled me, man. You fooled me. Yeah, I would throw a little edge highlight. But otherwise, it looks fantastic. It's nice and clean. Be careful of those mold lines. I can see a few mold lines here and there. But, I mean, it's Skaven. I mean, you had probably 500 of those things to do. So, some will slip through the cracks. But otherwise, fantastic work. Keep sending those emails. That was the last email. So, for this email show, people, I've gotten through all the emails. I'm all caught up. So if you most likely, most of you will be seeing this on Twitch before I end up posting it to YouTube. So feel free to leave comments, whatever, and send me emails. Keep sending me emails. But yeah, so I'm gonna end it there. What are we at? Yeah, almost hour 20. Not bad. Not bad for just an email show. Me just blathering on about stuff. Not bad. I only had one beer. Wish I had more. Should have had more. Anyway. So, if you're commission painting service, you're brand new to the hobby, you want a little bit of help on a color scheme, or, you just want to drum up some extra exposure, send your questions to Kris@miniwargaming.com. It's in the description below. Of course, you can also join me on wavetthebrush.com. That is going to be that is the central hub of all this silliness. It has links to the Discord, links to Instagrams, Twitters, Facebook. Join us on Facebook as well. Don't forget to like and subscribe and, all that stuff. Way of the Brush also has links to the live portion of the show, as well as links to t-shirts. So you get a t-shirt. Way of the Brush helps the cause, helps me out, keeps this whole thing running. Allows me to build upgrades, because I do actually have another upgrade coming up that I do want to purchase. And so, yeah, all your help, all the patrons, again, with their help, they help keep this thing going. And I always want to thank them. Again, thank you, Guymere Alfer, a.k.a. Carl, a.k.a. Beer and Blood Bowl. Check his channel out if you like yourself some Blood Bowl and you like yourself some beer, or beer and Blood Bowl, or Blood Bowl and beer, in whatever order. Again, check his channel out. A lot of fun. And again, my patrons, I always want to thank them, because they really help out. And again, like I said, I have another upgrade that I want to do to make this show a little bit better, and make it a little bit more professional, sort of, kind of, maybe professional is not the right word. But yeah, so and again, everybody who's purchased shirts, send me pictures of yourselves in your shirts, because I want them for the Monkey Shrine. And also, remember we had a talk a while back about getting a picture of a Way of the Brush shirt on a Space Marine. So if you can send me a picture of a Way of the Brush shirt on a Space Marine, you're going to get a prize. You'll get a prize, I swear. And a good prize, like a legit prize. Not the usual BS excuse I usually give, like my love and admiration, which you also get. But you also get a prize. What kind of prize? I have no idea. It all depends. It all depends on how cool the picture is. Because if the picture's really cool, I'm thinking maybe like a get started box or something like that. Yeah. Or maybe something like a box of paints, or something like that. Maybe some brushes. You know what? I've also maybe some brushes. Maybe we'll figure something out. But you can get me a picture of yourself with a Space Marine, with the Space Marine shirt on the Space Marine. Awesome. Because I'll pay money for that. I'll spend money on that. So hopefully you enjoyed this pre-recorded. Let me know what you guys think of this pre-recorded thing. Because I didn't want to go this weekend without doing, because I'm going to be terribly busy. I'm going to an NFL game. I'm going to tomorrow, which is the 26th. Again, the 25th. Today is my wedding anniversary. It's 21 years married. 21 years. What have you been doing for 21 years? Probably married longer than some of you guys have been alive. But yeah, today was my anniversary. We're heading out here shortly. That's why I was trying to hurry up and get this, try and get something done today. So, yeah, of course. What else? What else do I got? I got nothing else. Do I got anything else? Don't forget to like, subscribe. If you're on Twitch, don't forget to sub. And hopefully you guys enjoy it. Leave comments down below. And take care of your brushes. They'll take care of you. And I will see you guys next week. Next week? I should be seeing you guys next week. Next week, I will see you guys. So, laters.